Tornadoes, destructive winds, and flash flooding loom from Texas to Missouri. Steph?
But say it ain't so. Tropical developments bubbling up in the Atlantic will make for an active hurricane season finale. Potential tropical cyclone 18 could strengthen into a hurricane this week as it heads towards the Gulf Coast. Lynette?
All right, tomorrow is election day. Don't let weather get in the way of your vote. We'll tell you where to expect puddles at the polls. Molly?
Well, this is America's Morning Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Molly McCullum alongside meteorologist Stephanie Abrams and Lynette Charles. We want to start with Steph because, Steph, we had 2 days back-to-back of severe weather in Oklahoma, but unfortunately, now we're facing down another one.
Yeah, we are. 6 reports of tornadoes one day.
We look at the radar, and it is knocking on your door, Oklahoma City, and knocking on your door again, I should say. We will have rounds of showers and thunderstorms coming through the area today. And again, those rounds, each round will have the potential, I should say, to be on the severe side of things. So for your today, we have the Torcons out there. We have 5s, we have 3s, we have 2s. Don't think just because we have the 2s and the 3s that you can't get anything. No, we've seen plenty of days where we have 2s and 3s and we do get those tornadoes. So at this point, you definitely need to know where you're going to go. I know you guys are used to severe weather, but still, maybe somebody's visiting. Maybe you're going to be on a business trip. You're going to be visiting. Know where you go. Ask a neighbor. Ask somebody because you definitely need to be the lowest level of your home. You need to make sure you stay away from those windows, put a lot of walls between you and the outside. As we go into the afternoon, lunchtime, this is going to be the second round for today that comes through. Remember I said today, we had rounds yesterday, we had the rounds the day before that. As we go more towards the evening time frame, that's when we'll start to calm things down a little bit more. But really today, we could see maybe about 2-3 rounds of the showers and thunderstorms working their way through the area. Let's head further off towards the south here around Texas this morning. On the drier side at this point around Dallas. But again, as we go into the afternoon, things are really going to start to get rocking and rolling. We have Torcons of 3s and 5s here as well. This goes into motion. And as we go in through about 11 o'clock, we'll start to see some of the thunderstorms bubbling, especially back off towards Weatherford at around Jacksboro, but we will watch this really start to blossom and develop around Dallas-Fort Worth as we head towards about 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It will be lingering. Those nasty cells that we'll be seeing. Again, we could be seeing those supercells, those rotating thunderstorms coming through the area, but also the line of thunderstorms rolling through as well. Those squall lines coming in across the area. We hop over up further off towards the north here, Missouri, Springfield. You're dealing with a few spotty showers coming in across the area right now, but again, your activity will be on the uptick as we go through the rest of this afternoon. Again, Torcons, 3s, 4s, 5s out there once again. This goes into motion, and we can see those nasty storms again coming through Sparta as we go through this morning, and then more rounds coming in as we go into the afternoon, moving through the area, and then another round as we go into the evening, Molly. So you see this, and again, it's not like it's going to be one and done. No, we will have several rounds of severe weather coming through as we go through the rest of today.
It's the way it's been all the way through. It's a large area of real estate that we have a flood watch in effect. No surprise because what's been going on throughout the weekend in places like Oklahoma past 48 hours. Look at this, how much rain that we've seen in the state of Oklahoma from Oklahoma City and areas south over to Tulsa, but also an additional area where we have some recent reports of flooding on the border of Arkansas stretching up into southern Missouri. You bring elevation into play. I'm a little bit concerned about areas in the Ozarks because you get that lift up and over the elevation. You squeeze out a little extra moisture, but where does that have to go? It's always going to find the lowest point. So it's going to stream into their areas like low-lying areas, valleys where we have creek beds, rivers, streams already, and it's going to bring those water levels up really quickly. So watch this area very closely this morning where we already have flash flood warnings, but also this area back where we've seen severe thunderstorm warnings so far this morning. A lot of moisture to work with, and it's going to put down more rain on top of already saturated ground. And, you know, if you're in Oklahoma, you're like, we need this rain. But yeah, it's just too much at once. We have extensive drought across this entire region, but too much rain at one time is not doing us any favors as far as some of those drought conditions. We need a little bit over a long period of time, but that's not what the atmosphere is delivering this week. We're going to be watching that front as it moves to the east pretty much throughout the entire election day from Arkansas, then eventually ending up in parts of the mid-south over towards Tennessee. And this is the rainfall still to come. This is what I was talking about. You want to watch out for this area right here where we have some elevation in play, and we've already seen 3 to 5, 5 to 8 inches of rain. We're going to put an additional 3 to 5 inches of rain on top of that. That's why we're concerned about flash flooding. But it extends out of this region, so pretty much anywhere from Texas all the way up to the Great Lakes. That's a huge area of real estate that we're watching through tomorrow morning. And of course, that impacts us on Election Day. As you wake up early in the morning, we're going to be seeing rain, Wisconsin, Michigan, down through Iowa, parts of Illinois, even into St. Louis. You're going to be waking up with rain. As mentioned, you're going to be watching the rain move to the east for the better part of Tuesday, clearing out by the afternoon. The Twin Cities, Iowa, Kansas City, seeing a lot of sunshine throughout Election Day. St. Louis, you're going to be in the rain and then the clouds for the second half of the day. And then at least by the time the sun goes down, now we're watching a lot of this rain move off to the east. And a quick look at the southeast, we're going to be waking up clouds, but pretty dry in Atlanta. This is the very same front, but it's the southern end of this front that's going to be moving areas, Arkansas down through Louisiana, and then eventually into New Orleans for the second half of the day. But Steph, it's also this very same region that we're going to be watching for the second half of the week into the weekend, because it is still hurricane season.
I just posted on Instagram and then shared to my stories, and I did the no.
That's what everyone is feeling right now. It's just like, why? We're almost done. Why do we have to deal with this in November?
I know. Hurricane season does go technically to November 30th. And we have had named storms past that date. This one will eventually be named Rafael. Right now, it is moving north at 7. There's a lot of thunderstorm activity, but do we have a center of circulation just yet? That's what the hurricane hunters are going out to figure out. Buoys gusting near 40 miles an hour. You can see overall, yes, this model wants to have some of that spin going on. But the question is this where the center really is located? Is it here? Where exactly is that center located? And we need the hurricane hunters to go out there. They'll take pressure readings, they'll take wind readings, and determine where it is. Now, regardless of where it is, we have a lot of ocean heat content, not only where it is, but where it's headed to. So very warm water still here. Shear, okay, there's a little bit for us, especially on the west side, but overall, look what happens once it gets, there's no shear until you see up around the Gulf Coast. There's some shear right now, but it's not supposed to be up into the Gulf Coast until the end. We're going right into Oklahoma City with this line, and we do have multiple little areas that we're watching on this. I was talking with our weather producer, Matt, and I saw 6 little humps. So what happens is you get some very strong winds in a thunderstorm, right? You get the strong winds to come down. And what they'll do is they'll bow out the radar like this. You can get little spin ups on the edges of some of those stronger winds coming through. Now, this shows it a little clearly. Yeah, thanks for stopping it, Matt. You see all these little bumps right here along the radar? So this is what we're talking about of why there is the potential, leave it there for a second, Matt, of several spin-ups within those little, and I'm talking about small little quick spin-ups for us. All right, Matt, you can do what you're going to do. Matt is the man behind the magic curtain here with all the different tools. So there we go. Another good one, Matt. Right. So you see all these, sorry, the light on this is a little funky, but you notice how there's multiple areas where you have those little couplets. You can see that very clearly here. So this means you could get multiple little spin-ups, and notice this is all headed right towards Oklahoma City. And so you have multiple suburbs that these are about to go through. One of those including is Bethany along 66, also along the highway here on multiple major highways. So if you're in Bethany, War Acres, the Villages, Edmond, Witcher, this is all headed in your direction. And even if you don't get a tornado, I hope you don't, we still could have winds 60 miles an hour. You could see hail with these as well. We're going to continue to follow this.
Ready to go as you wait in line. Tuesday, this is the evening time frame now. So Detroit, Cincinnati, Paducah, Memphis, all the way down into Louisiana, all still seeing some rain. Now, in a lot of spots, this is much needed rain. In some areas, it's been way too much. Like Oklahoma, we needed the rain. We didn't need as much as what we saw because it's been causing flash flooding. The dry ground can only absorb so much, right? I mentioned this area earlier. You bring elevation into play in northern parts of Arkansas, and you're going to have a problem with flash flooding when you have 3 to 5 inches of rain on top of already saturated ground. For Election Day, as we head up into parts of the Midwest and the Great Lakes, we will start off the morning with rain. However, some areas are going to start to see some quick improvements by the second half of the day. So we're clearing out in Kansas City as well as a lot of Iowa by the lunchtime hours. Still seeing some showers in the Twin Cities, but that's going to clear out by the afternoon. Traverse City as well, and Chicago and St. Louis, but still seeing the rain through Indiana and through a lot of Michigan, including the UP of Michigan. But eventually that starts to move to the east, and a lot of these areas clear out through the overnight hours. But Steph, it's not just rain we're talking about. We've got some snow in the forecast.
Okay, so once this system moves through, which you'll see kind of the tail end of it here, we have our next big weather maker come through. Now, this one's going to be impressive because it's going to bring us snow, A. B, it's also going to help direct what will be Rafael, which is coming up from the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico. So this will be a player. Denver is going to get snow out of this. The latest we've ever seen our first inch of snow was December 31st, 2021. And so we are definitely not, we're going to get plenty of snow before that date comes in. As you see, the trough is dipping down, and it's going to bring some very heavy stuff here, especially in eastern Colorado, New Mexico. We will get in ahead of it. It's the rain and that southerly flow with this big trough coming in. Again, way down here in the Caribbean, we have our entity. Is it going to feel the effects of that trough? That will help determine if this thing comes into Louisiana, Mississippi versus it misses it and kind of moves westbound here. Anyway, back to the snow, because that's what we're supposed to be discussing. They're all just, they play a role in how everything happens. And so I just find it really interesting to kind of talk about the whole big picture. It continues to come down. Someone's going to get a foot of snow out of this, at least, if not more. Let's first talk about the rainy side. We need the rain, and the Euro has another 3 to 5 heavy inches of rain from Oklahoma to Texas. The GFS has a little bit farther east with those rainfall totals into the weekend. Regardless of where it falls, we know it's going to come down. We'll take it because we are seeing extreme drought in several states here into the south and the southern plains. When it comes to the snow, that is going to be quite abundant here along 25, along 70. We will see the heavy stuff coming down for us, and our totals will be a foot plus in several locations. It does finally get out of here. It lasts for a few days, though. So this is tomorrow through Saturday. You are talking a couple feet, if not 3. This is the Euro really going with the heavy stuff here, which is believable because there's a lot of moisture coming up from the south and that cold air combining. The GFS going a little bit lighter, but still places could see 1 to 2 feet with that. Lynette.
Wow, snow lovers are just drooling. They just love that. At the top of the hour on America's Morning Headquarters,